Consumer organizations are advocacy groups that seek to protect people from corporate abuse like unsafe products, predatory lending, false advertising, astroturfing and pollution. Consumer organizations may operate via protests, litigation, campaigning, or lobbying. They may engage in single-issue advocacy, which campaigned against keg beer and for cask ale, or they may set themselves up as more general consumer watchdogs, such as the Consumers Association in the UK. One common means of providing consumers useful information is the independent comparative survey test of products or services, involving different manufacturers or companies. Another arena where consumer organizations have operated is food safety. The needs for campaigning in this area are less easy to reconcile with the traditional methods, since the scientific, dietary or medical evidence is normally more complex than in other arenas, such as the electric safety of white goods. The current standards on mandatory labeling in developed countries have in part been shaped by past lobbying by consumer groups. The aim of consumer organizations may be to establish and to attempt to enforce consumer rights. Effective work has also been done, however, simply by using the threat of bad publicity to keep companies focused on the consumer's point of view. Consumer organizations may attempt to serve consumer interests by relatively direct actions such as creating and/or disseminating market information, and prohibiting specific acts or practices, or by promoting competitive forces in the markets which directly or indirectly affect consumers. History. Two precursor organizations to the modern consumer organization are standards organizations and consumers' leagues. Both of these appeared in the United States around 1900. Trade associations and professional societies began to establish standards organizations to reduce industry waste and increase productivity. Consumers' leagues modeled themselves after trade unions in their attempts to improve the marketplace with boycotts in the same way that trade unions sought to improve working conditions with strike action. Consumer organizations in some countries. International Organization Consumers International NGO, ANEC, BEUC, ICRT, the only independent international organization for consumer research and testing. National Organization, Australia Consumers Federation of Australia, Australian Consumers Association, Australian Communications Consumer Action Network, Belgium Test Armcoop Test Chats, Botswana Consumer Watchdog, Brazil IDEC, Instituto Brasileiro de Defesa do Consumidor, Protest, Canada Consumers Association of Canada, Consumers Council of Canada, Option Consommateurs, China Mingzhan, Denmark Forbrugerrådet Talyang, Fiji Consumer Council of Fiji, Fiji Consumers Association, France UFCK Choisier, 60 millions de consommateurs, Germany Stiftung Wentest, Okotest, Verbraucher Zentralbundesverband, Israel, India Consumer Guidance Society of India, All India Consumer Protection Organization, The Consumers Eye India, United India Consumers Association, Graik Shakti, Bengaluru Karnataka non-profit non-political voluntary consumer organization working for the empowerment of consumer for over 3 decades, very dedicated and doing yeoman service to the society. They have a large membership base with about 21 lifetimers who contribute their time and energy honorarily. It is driven by a passionate managing trustee who leads from front and puts in his money to steer the organization. They are very principled and have earned consumer confidence. They have faced several crises for being bold and uncompromising in their outlook. Remarkable indeed. Consumer Awareness, Protection and Education Council is also a major voluntary consumer organization based in Bangalore. This organization has been continuously working for the welfare of consumers. DMANMATH is its president. To know more about this VCO, you can log on to www.kapacouncil.org. Coordinated Action of Consumer and AMP Voluntary Organizations of Karnataka, a network of various voluntary consumer organizations in the state of Karnataka with presence in 22 districts out of 30 at present. Consortium of South India consumer organizations spread out in 6 states of southern India, viz. Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Telangana, Puducherry and Kerala. The idea is to share, work together and plan joint action in strengthening the consumer movement in these states. Italy Altro Consumo, Unione Nazionale Consumatori, Fede Consumatori, Movimento Consumatori, Japan Consumers Union of Japan, Japan Offspring Fund, Korea Consumer Agency, the Netherlands De Consumentenbond, Pakistan The Consumers I Pakistan. The Consumers I Pakistan is a non-profit registered social welfare organization for the protection of consumer rights in Pakistan since 2005. The Consumers I Pakistan's vision is a world where everyone has access to safe and sustainable goods and services, where the strength of the collective power is used for the good of consumers throughout Pakistan. TCEPs is working to put the rights of consumers at the heart of decision-making. TCEP hosts seminars and events especially on occasion of World Consumer Rights Day and AMP World Standards Day every year with the collaboration of PSQCA and other organizations related to consumer rights protection, to create consumer awareness against unregistered, substandard and counterfeit products and services. The Consumers I Pakistan cooperates with PSQCA to promote quality standard culture in Pakistan. TCEP is actively involved with PSQCA in improving quality and standards of the citizens by advocating accountability and code of conduct in government and society to promote standardization and quality consciousness culture in Pakistan for the benefit of consumers. TCEP's representatives have been going with the PSQCA raiding task force team to open markets as an independent observer. TCEP represent consumers as member in different technical committees of standardization in PSQCA. The Consumers I Pakistan campaigns on the domestic and international issues that matter to consumers. TCEP seeks to hold corporations to account and demands government action to put consumer concerns first, acting as a global watchdog, campaigning against any behavior that threatens, ignores or abuses the principles of consumer protection. The Consumers I Pakistan also organizes workshops, seminars and colloquiums throughout the Pakistan, bringing together people from different sections of the society, including politicians, economists, and experts from related fields, to create awareness and build opinion on nationally important issues, carrying out studies and researches on various issues related to consumers and consumables. TCEP publish material for consumer awareness in Pakistan. The Consumers I Pakistan have introduced an annual series of awards, Quality Standard Award, in 2010 to appreciate for the highly valuable products, brands and services in Pakistan. This program has the official collaboration of Pakistan Standards and Quality Control Authority. Ministry of Science and Technology also have support of other organizations. Quality Standard Award is a new concept to develop a relationship of trust among consumers, producers and service providers in Pakistan. The Consumer I Pakistan is working to build a better Pakistan. We believe that better work with commitment and honesty can improve people's lives. Quote, Consumer Voice Pakistan. Consumers Voice CVP is a non-profit voluntary social welfare organization (NGO) working since 2002 to empower consumers in Pakistan, with the aim of getting Pakistani consumers a fairer deal to put the rights of consumers at the heart of decision-making. CVP's vision is a world where everyone access to safe and sustainable goods and services, where the strength of the collective power is used for the good of consumers. CVP's objective is to protect the interests of the consumer, making the consumer conscious of the malpractices perpetuated in the marketplace. Consumers Voice CVP formed to protect and educate consumers, represent them on all forums, and make sure that consumer goods and services are given highest priority for the benefits of consumers. Consumers Voice CVP campaigns on the domestic and international issues that matter to consumers in Pakistan. This means achieving real changes in government policy and corporate behavior while raising voice for awareness of rights and responsibilities. CVP seeks to hold corporations to account and demands government action to put consumer concerns first, acting as a watchdog, campaigning against any behavior that threatens, ignores or abuses the principles of consumer protection. This modern movement is essential to secure a fair, safe and sustainable future for consumers in a marketplace increasingly dominated by international corporations. In Pakistan, the consumer is left at the sympathy of shopkeepers and manufacturers. The markets are full of substandard and forged products are widely available for general public consumers, and these foods are semi-expired, low standard and hazard for healthy lives. CVP campaign to end the menace and create awareness among the people regarding the consumer rights. It includes adequate food, clothing, shelter, health care, education and safe drinking water in Pakistan. Consumer Voice Pakistan publishes monthly Consumer Voice magazine in Pakistan, Poland. Federacją Konsumentów, Stowarzyszenie Konsumentów Polskich, Portugal. Deco. Protest. Republic of Ireland. The National Consumer Agency is a statutory body that defends consumer interests in the Republic of Ireland. Romania. Association Națională pentru Protecția Consumatorului și Promovarea Programelor și Strategiilor din Romania. National Association for Consumers Protection and Promotion of Programs and Strategies from Romania. South Africa. The National Consumer Commission, SAR. National Consumer Union, Spain. Organization de Consumidores y Usuarios, Uganda. Uganda Consumer Action Network is a non-government, not-for-profit organization founded in 2007 and registered as a company limited by guarantee. It works towards ensuring that consumers, especially the most vulnerable, get value for the money through quick, easy, accessible and affordable alternate dispute resolution mechanisms. United Kingdom. In the United Kingdom, the Enterprise Act 2002 allows consumer bodies that have been approved by the Secretary of State for Trade and Industry to be designated as super complainants to the Competition and Markets Authority. These super complainants are intended to strengthen the voice of consumers, who are unlikely to have access individually to the kind of information necessary to judge whether markets are failing for them. 8 have been designated as of 2007. Camera, a lobbying group concerned with the tradition and quality of beer. The Citizens Advice Bureau, a free service that provides legal advice, practical help and information on consumer rights across the country. Consumer Council for Water. Consumer Direct. Consumer Focus. The government announced as part of the October 2010 spending review that Consumer Focus will be abolished, with the Consumer Direct helpline taken over by Citizens Advice. Some of Consumer Focus's functions would transfer to Citizens Advice Bureau, Citizens Advice Scotland and the General Consumer Council for Northern Ireland following the Public Bodies Act 2011 and any necessary secondary legislation. The transfer is expected to begin April 2013 and be complete by April 2014. General Consumer Council of Northern Ireland, Good Garage Scheme, and Automobile Repair Shop Motoring Scheme. Post-Watch, which, formerly the Consumers Association, a consumer advocacy organization which has substantial powers but which is primarily a lobbying organization, funded entirely by subscriptions to its regular consumer information magazine. United States Alliance for Justice, Better Business Bureau, Consumer Action, Consumer Federation of California, Consumers Union, Publishers of Consumer Reports, Consumer Watchdog, formerly the Foundation for Taxpayer and Consumer Rights, Flyers Rights.org, Public Citizen, Consumer Federation of America, Center for Science in the Public Interest, National Consumers League, U.S. Public Interest Research Group, Consumer Magazines. By 1969, most capitalist countries with developed marketplaces hosted consumer organizations that published consumer magazines which reported the results of product testing. Internationally, the idea of consumer organization spread from Consumers Union in the United States starting in 1956. The growth of interest in product testing journalism might be explained by increased consumption of mass-marketed products in and before the time period. That increased international consumption itself was an effect of the aftermath of World War II. In the 25 years after World War II, there was a correlation between the number of people in a country who were purchasing cars and the popularity of consumer magazines. In some cases, an increase in other consumer purchases seemed to drive popularity of consumer magazines, but the correlation was closest for populations who made decisions about buying cars. The availability of consumer magazines comforted consumers when individuals in society suddenly became overwhelmed with marketplace decisions, and the popularity of magazines seemed to grow as more marketplace decisions became available.